What up, Dokkaners? Should you or should you not summon on the Beast Gohan Tanabata Part 1 banner? This is probably a very contested debate right now for a lot of people, depending on who you ask, depending on how people feel about the Beast Gohan. But I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on this because if you clicked on this video, you're either watching the video to support the channel, which by the way, thank you, or you're genuinely curious what I have to say. I make these videos because people ask me for my opinion. I make these videos for people who might otherwise need a little bit of extra, opinions in favor of or against what they're currently trying to decide. They're just on the fence, or you just want to know. That's why I'm doing this. If you don't care what I have to say, that is also totally fine. You already know what you want. You know what you're about. By all means, you do not need to worry about what I have to say in this video, but I'm doing it to help those who might not necessarily know what they want, or they want to know what I have to say. And I'm saying all this because I actually want to talk about a comment at the end of the video, a very interesting comment that I think actually provides some good insight into some of the conversations that we have nowadays about these banners. So a little more on that at the end of the video. But let's start by talking about this. There are a few different ways that we can look at this. So let's start with the most obvious. Is the banner itself good? The answer is yes. The banner itself is good. Objectively speaking, when you compare this banner structure compared to the monthly typical pity structure, this is by far and away superior. Both because it's Tanabata, so the general quality of the characters on average are going to be higher, but also because this is a modified pity. When you compare this modified pity lineup versus a metal cooler or a monthly regular pity lineup, it's night and day in terms of personnel. There's a lot more action going on over here, but in the wrong way because they've diluted the banner. For once again, for those of you who don't know, pity started because they wanted to give the illusion of giving players what they wanted. So what they did, these clever little sneaks, they gave us pity 50 years after we asked for it, but then they diluted the banner so that, yeah, you got pity, but you're gonna have to find a needle in a haystack to get it before you reach that point, or you're just gonna have to go the distance to get the pity. They did that by adding 3 extra featured characters into the featured list. So instead of 1 out of 7, it's now 1 out of 10. So the chances of you pulling the new headliner before you go the distance and get to the pity where you have to buy the character, it's gonna be much lower. Modified pity reverts back to what we were accustomed to, but now they've kept the pity and they've instead increased the premium on the pity. So now instead of 200 coins, it costs 300, but the trade-off is that generally your odds of pulling the new unit along the way are better. So I think most would agree that this is better. Actually, I should say some people disagree. They don't actually like this. They would prefer just going for the 200, but it just depends on who you are. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I think that this is a better banner. And when you consider the talent involved, this is also better. Beast Gohan, new character, good. Red Ribbon Army Piccolo, new character, good. Deborah, released at a very inconvenient time and was good then, and he's newish because he's returning for the first time now. He's good. Cooler, he's got his EZA coming up. Some may feel he's not going to be very good, but I think he's going to be good, so we can kind of leave that as a question mark, leaning towards good. AGL Super Saiyans, they could receive their EZA during this celebration. It's not a guarantee. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And if they don't, well, you managed to get a couple copies in time for whenever they do get their EZA. So we'll put that in favor of good. No, I hate this guy. He is a do or die, and I always die, so I hate him. Irrational bias, maybe. But I'm very conflicted. I don't want to talk about it. Believe it or not, he's good. He's not flashy. He's not recent, but he is a reliable old fella. That's what he is. This is your wily old veteran who will be questionable defensively at times, but in the long run, he will carry you to victory. This guy is a 10-pull unit for long-form escalation content, aka Festival of Battles. He's not flashy and he's not new, but he is still decent. So when you consider that, collectively, this banner and the prospect of pulling a good unit versus a not good unit, it's looking much better than it would on the Metal Cooler banner. Consider day 1 of the Metal Cooler celebration, before we knew what this guy was, I know it's hard to do that, but just picture that. We know what this guy can do. We know what this guy can do. No, 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 no. This was a maybe because we thought maybe he was going to get an EZA because, artificial life form, stuff like that. We knew he was coming, but we didn't know how good he was going to be. They have missed before, depending on who you ask. We knew that one of these guys was going to EZA. We didn't know how they were going to be, depending on who you ask. Dokkan has flubbed EZAs before. So this is a very bleak scenario when you're summoning. You're trying to go for Metal Cooler. What is your fallback? A bunch of nonsense. That's not good. You're going for Beast Gohan. What is your fallback? Deborah, Cooler, your anchor for Festival of Battles, this is a much better scenario. So that's why this is 1 point in favor of, yeah, I think you should summon. I'm not saying you should break the bank and go for broke here. I am saying that it is worth dabbling on these summons. Speaking of dabble, just want to remind you guys, friendly reminder, you can earn 7 free tickets for this banner by clearing Seriously Serious Stage 9. So I've already done a video for that if you guys want to see how I got the job done. I was doing the missions though, but in order to actually get the ticket, you just have to clear it once. So you can actually forget all the missions, forget that video, just clear it with your best team, get it done, get your 7 tickets. Who knows? Maybe you summon, you get the new, you don't even have to worry about it. I mean, that's just great, right? So there's that. That's just a friendly little reminder. Let's continue here. Next thing that I want to talk about, the return date. When is this dude going to come back? Let's just say you don't want to summon, you'll get him when he comes back. Well, he is coming back technically in a week. We'll talk about that in a second. But when is he truly coming back as a coinable character? That is not going to be for some time, because if we go back to last year, Tanabata, end of August 2025, this is when Golden Frieza Gogeta came out. So Golden Frieza Gogeta, featured banners right here, debuted September 2025. They returned on the Deborah banner, which was post-anniversary. This was in March of 2026. If history were to repeat itself, which it's not necessarily guaranteed, Dokkan has been known to change things up a lot, but based on what limited information we know from the past, that's about all we can use to infer. I would infer that he would return in about a similar 6-month time frame, maybe even more. Maybe it's after the anniversary, because this guy is the first Dokkan festival after anniversary. So instead of 6 months, what if it's 8 months? What if it's in March? Wait, we're in July. So that's what, 5 months plus, that's 8 months. That's a long time. That's a pretty long time. Do you want to wait that long? Depends on who you ask, but there is that to consider. That might create the FOMO where you might want to actually try to get them right now, or maybe you just don't care. You just don't worry about it altogether. Some people might actually just not care, because I get it. Some people are pretty bummed out. Let me just briefly touch on that. I talked about it in my previous video. You hopefully have seen it. I gave my thoughts about Beast Gohan after using him both at 55% level 1 and Rainbow Max Links. The dude is a Tanabata unit, all but in his kit. I think the kit is missing 1 or 2 critical components to make him a more complete Tanabata unit. If this guy were to be a monthly celebration release, I feel like the clapback would be far less insane. But because of the fact that this is a Tanabata unit, the expectations are higher, the standards of quality are higher, I do personally feel, after using the character an adequate amount of times, that they have sort of missed the mark a little bit. I think that there needs to be 1 or 2 more lines of the passive that's actually added, which is funny because that was one of the first things that I took exception to that I actually liked about the character. Short, sweet, concise passive. Turns out maybe we're missing something. Give a little bit more. I don't know if they're going to do it. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I do feel that he is a little bit lacking. That being said, I think the unit is still good, and I think the unit is still tanky and still effective. Granted, the more copies you have, the better. So maybe my perspective doesn't matter there because I'm a whale. I'm a good for nothing. So be it. But I just want to say that. So, take that how you will. The Tanabata banner is actually going to be giving you another opportunity to get the Beast Gohan, and that is coming up next week. They talked about in the producer's letter video, the Transcendent Campaign Dokkan Festival will become available July 6th PST. On that banner, there are going to be 9 featured characters that can be Dokkan awakened into the LR. The ones that matter, I would say probably, are the ones that you see here. Ultimate Gohan, fantastic. Orange Piccolo, better because of Beast Gohan. Diamond Super Saiyan 4, top tier. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, top tier. 5 out of the 9 are visible here. There will be more. And those characters will likely be less relevant, less important. But among these 9, you have an opportunity to pull the Beast Gohan. There is something that I don't think too many people are aware of that I want to show you in the campaign details. Actually, not the campaign. In the summon details, they say right here in the fine print, Dokkan Festival Coin Limited 18 can also be obtained in the Scorching Onslaught Transcendent Campaign Dokkan Festival, which will become available at a later date. They are referring to this. So if you summon on this banner, you will earn coins in favor of picking up this guy with pity. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up to say, at the end of the day, after all the points that I mentioned, it might actually be better to just hold off, use your free tickets for right now, use your 7, SR tickets, summon on the banner, and then wait until this comes out. And then based on how your summons go here, maybe you want to, try your chance at getting Daima Super Saiyan 4 without having to use coins. Maybe you want to pick up Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta without having to use coins. Maybe you get 1 or 2 of these characters that might spare you the need to have to pick up them through coins. You could then maybe pick up this guy with coin. I'm kind of stepping on the lines of the next video that I was going to make, but you know, you could kind of help make smarter decisions in terms of going back to this first banner. That might honestly be the best thing to do. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is this is a banner worth spending on. Not breaking the bank over, but it is worth spending a couple of multis on. But I do think that if you wait until the Tanabata Dokkan Festival comes out, you might want to do some summons there to try not only try to get Beast, but these other guys. And then as a fallback, after you get some coins from that, you can come back here and decide how many more you want to do to see if you can maybe pick up this character with coins. You know, there's one more thing I actually didn't point out. His leader skill is very nice. Very good set of leader skills where it covers a wide array of characters, and not only characters, but like good characters, top tier characters, relevant characters. Movie heroes, hybrid Saiyans, movie heroes, hybrid Saiyans, movie heroes, hybrid Saiyans. What's this one? Yeah, more movie heroes, hybrid Saiyans. They got a couple 10th anniversary guys there. Future Gohan. Oh, this is the big one. Look at this. Spirit Bomb Z, Spirit Bomb GT, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I was gonna say Daima. This is Hachiyak Goku. So we've actually got a nice selection of characters here. And another thing that people sometimes regret after a unit goes away is future content, future challenge events, missions. There are certain categories that will, you know, come back to bite you, and you don't have the means to run them. A big example of that was last year during the 10th anniversary. Everybody skipped Cell, and for good reason. Cell is in the middle of nowhere after anniversary, after Saiyan Day. Who the heck wants to summon for Cell, right? We've got Golden Week coming up. This is an easy skip. It lifts right out. But all throughout the year, there were tournament participant missions all over the place that people kept finding a reason to run Cell, and they had immediate regret for not having it. Look, it's a gacha game. They're going to do this no matter what banner you skip. There's always going to be FOMO. There's always going to be regret. So there's never going to be a right time or a wrong time. It's just a matter of your priorities and your options and how much each one matters to you. So hopefully all these different points that I brought up can help you make a more informed decision. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to bring up one more point. So this is from one of you guys. This was a great comment. I actually really appreciate this. This person said, I'm not going to read their name just in case they don't want the name to be shared. Your advice on saving for big celebrations doesn't hold water anymore. So many people missed Metal Cooler and Turles for this. Monthly units are starting to be just as good or better than big celebration ones. So I like that we're heading in that direction, and I think that can be credited to Geppy for increasing the quality of the characters that are being released, because ever since he took over, I think he took over end of anniversary, right? I mean, Deborah was good, Majin Vegeta was good, Saiyan Saga's been good, especially the treatment for Saiyan Saga. This guy, okay. This guy, I mean, Realm of Gods, definitely huge upgrade. This one especially, this is probably the best one. It's been getting better. But the thing is, like I've been doing in this video, in terms of how I can infer or make predictions or give my opinions on what can come down the road, our only way to do that is by looking at patterns, looking at the past, looking at precedent. There's only so much that we can do in terms of predicting what could be coming up. In general, if you ask just a random Dokkaner, would you rather invest in a monthly celebration or a Tanabata celebration? More often than not, most people are going to say Tanabata, because in general, it should be that the Tanabata unit is better than the monthly. But there will occasionally be times where that doesn't happen. And that's just Dokkan being Dokkan. There's really not much we can do in terms of accounting for that, predicting that. If you want to summon on every banner, then hey, do it. I mean, I'm a whale, I do it, but that's only because the channel allows me to do that, thanks to you guys. If I didn't have this channel, I could not survive this game. I've said this many times for Dokkan, and especially Legends, I could not do it. It is only because I am lucky enough to have you guys watching my channel, supporting the content, that I'm actually able to do this, but I couldn't do it otherwise. But the thing is, you have to make concessions here and there, and sometimes it falls flat, and it's nobody's fault but Dokkan. So at the end of the day, hindsight is 2020. You're always going to look back much more vividly than you would when you were first jumping into it. Like I said early on in the video, the way that this banner looked day one of his celebration versus day 30, it's night and day. Well, I don't want to say night and day, but it's a big difference, right? Instead of 2 new characters that are appealing, it's 4 characters that are appealing out of 10. Still grim odds, but it's better than what it was day 1. So the same thing is going to happen with this banner. The same thing is going to happen with every banner. And if they continue to make, like, if they can continue to iterate and make every banner unit, like every character better, it's going to create a much more difficult time for players to decide which ones to summon on. And once we have enough history, enough pattern or precedent of them doing that, then yeah, I guess the should you summon debate will just be a straight up coin toss. I don't know. Maybe. If you're lucky, this one will be good. The next one will suck. There's only so much we can do. So I hope that, you know, when at the end of the day, like, people understand that I'm just another consumer like you guys. I don't have any influence on the game's like production, what they do. I'm just giving my opinions. And if you want to, you know, follow them, you can. And if you don't want to, that's totally fine. That's all I got. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below. Let me know in the comments, do you guys agree or disagree with some of my points that I brought up? What are some things that I didn't bring up in terms of assessing a banner's value? What are some other angles that you would like to include in the video? And what are your thoughts on how Dokkan has been as of late? Is it safe to say that moving forward, it is just as important to invest in monthly celebrations as much as GDC, Anniversary, and TDC? Or is it a case-by-case thing? I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let each know when I see more stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.